Anemoia. In Anemoia, you feel a strange nostalgia for a time you never lived in. Maybe a quiet 1980s street with dim yellow lights, or an old library filled with the smell of paper and dust. The word comes from modern dictionary of obscure sorrows, a culture created to name emotions people already felt but couldn't explain. Unlike normal nostalgia, which is tied to your own memories, this one attaches to imagined pasts, often built from movies, music, or stories. It matters because it reveals how deeply humans crave belonging, even in timelines that never included them. Psychologically, your brain stitches together fragments of media and emotion to simulate a lost home. The twist is that what you miss was never real, yet the ache feels completely real. Maybe what you're actually longing for isn't the past, but a version of life that feels slower, simpler, or more meaningful. Sonder. You're sitting somewhere ordinary, on a bus, in traffic, in a classroom, and suddenly realize every person around you has a life just as vivid and complicated as yours. This term also comes from modern coined language, capturing a realization people have had forever. What makes it different is how it shifts your perspective from being the center of your story to just one thread in a massive web. It's popular because it can feel both humbling and overwhelming at the same time. Psychologically, it disrupts the brain's natural tendency to prioritize your own narrative. The surprising part is that while it makes you feel small, it can also make the world feel richer and more connected. If everyone is living their own story, how many moments have you passed without realizing their depth? Hiraeth. You feel homesick for a place that doesn't fully exist anymore, or maybe never existed the way you remember it. This word comes from Welsh culture, deeply tied to identity, memory, and loss. Unlike simple homesickness, Hiraeth carries a sense of grief for something irretrievable, like childhood, a past version of home, or a place that changed. It matters because it captures the emotional weight of time passing and things slipping away. Psychologically, it's rooted in memory distortion. Your brain softens the past, making it feel warmer than it was. The twist is that you're not just missing a place, but a version of yourself that existed there. Maybe the real question isn't how to go back, but how to make peace with the fact that you can't. Limerence. You can't stop thinking about someone, their messages, their voice, even small interactions replay in your head like a loop. The term was coined by psychologist Dorothy Tennerve to describe intense romantic infatuation. Unlike love, which grows steady and mutual, limerence is obsessive, uncertain, and often one-sided. It matters because people often mistake it for true connection. Psychologically, it's driven by dopamine and reward cycles. The unpredictability of the other person keeps your brain hooked. The twist is that the less certain the relationship, the stronger the feeling can become. What feels like deep love might actually be your mind chasing validation rather than connection. Kenopsia. You walk into an empty place that should be full, a school hallway during holidays, a mall after closing, and feel an eerie, quiet unease. This word describes the unsettling atmosphere of abandoned or empty spaces. Its origin is modern, but the feeling is ancient, tied to human instincts about safety and activity. What makes it different is that nothing is actually wrong, yet it feels wrong. It matters because it highlights how much we associate life with movement and noise. Psychologically, your brain expects people in certain environments, and when that expectation is broken, it triggers discomfort. The twist is that silence, which should be peaceful, can feel unsettling when it appears in the wrong place. Chrysalism. You're inside during a thunderstorm, hearing rain hit the windows, distant thunder rolling, wrapped in a quiet sense of safety. This word describes the peaceful feeling of being sheltered while chaos happens outside. It comes from the imagery of a chrysalis, a cocoon protecting transformation. Unlike general comfort, Chrysalism is tied to contrast. Outside is wild, inside is calm. It matters because it reflects a deep human need for security. Psychologically, It combines sensory input, sound, light, enclosure, to create a feeling of protection. The twist is that the storm itself enhances the comfort, not disrupts it. Without the chaos outside, would the safety feel as strong? Vellichor. You step into a bookstore and feel a quiet, almost indescribable emotion. The smell of pages, the weight of stories, the sense of time passing. This word was coined to describe that specific feeling tied to old books and knowledge. Unlike simple nostalgia, Vellichor is more abstract, tied to the presence of countless stories rather than one memory. It matters because it connects people to learning, imagination, and history. Psychologically, it's a mix of sensory triggers and the awareness of accumulated human experience. The twist is that while books hold infinite stories, you'll only ever read a few. Surrounded by knowledge, you're reminded of how much you'll never know. Monachopsis. You feel out of place, like you don't quite belong in the environment you're in, even if you can't explain why. This term describes a subtle but persistent sense of displacement. It comes from modern coined language but reflects a universal experience. Unlike loneliness, which is about being alone, monachopsis is about being present but not fitting. It matters because many people feel it without having words for it. Psychologically, it can stem from identity, environment mismatch, or social comparison. The twist is that nothing may be objectively wrong, yet the feeling remains. Maybe belonging isn't just about where you are, but how you see yourself within it. Occhiolism. You suddenly feel small when you think about how limited your perspective is, how you can only experience life through your own eyes. This word captures the awareness of your narrow viewpoint in a vast world. It comes from modern language trying to name existential thoughts. Unlike Sonder, which focuses on others' lives, Occhiolism focuses on your limitations. It matters because it challenges how we understand reality. Psychologically, it's tied to self-awareness and cognitive limits. The twist is that while your perspective is small, it's also the only one you'll ever have. How do you fully understand a world you can never fully see? Onism. You feel frustrated by the fact that you can only experience one life at a time, that there are countless places, parts, and versions of life you'll never live. This word describes the awareness of limited experience in an infinite world. It comes from the same modern effort to name overlooked emotions. Unlike regret, which looks back, Onism looks outward at missed possibilities. It matters because it reflects the human desire to explore and experience more. Psychologically, it's tied to curiosity and fear of missing out. The twist is that limitations give life its shape. Without them, choices wouldn't matter. If you could live everything, would any single moment still feel important?